We are turning our attention now to Florida, where it's day 2 of jury selection in our newest live trial, the strangled woman murder trial. The defendant is 29-year-old Wade Wilson. He faces multiple charges, including 2 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz. These 2 women were killed within days of each other back in October of 2019. Melton was found dead in her home, and Ruiz was found in a field several days later. Wilson faces the death penalty there in Florida in connection to these killings. For more on jury selection in this trial for Wade Wilson, here's Scripps News affiliate WFTX in South Florida.
I'm Fox 4 senior reporter Caitlin Knapp, keeping you up to date on the first day of a high-profile Cape Coral double murder trial. Wade Wilson is accused of killing 2 women in 2019, Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz.
You've all been called for jury service in the case of the state of Florida versus Wade Wilson.
And with those words, Wade Wilson's trial began. He faces 6 charges, 2 counts of murder for the strangulation of Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz, grand theft of a motor vehicle, battery, burglary, and petty theft. Charges the judge read to Wilson in court.
Did unlawfully from a premeditated design to
He showed no emotion on his face, though Wilson did fold his arms and lean back at times as his attorneys and the prosecution questioned potential jurors.
Do you have any personal or moral or religious opposition to the death penalty?
Both sides asked that because if Wilson's found guilty, he could be sentenced to death.
Even if you find that the aggravating factors outweigh the mitigating circumstances, do you understand that the law will never compel you to come back with a recommendation for death?
The attorneys also asked about the tattoos on Wilson's face. You can see a line by his mouth mimicking stitches, a swastika on his face, and many other tattoos.
Is there anything about his face that would cause you just to say, oh, he's guilty, or would you be able to say, I'm going to listen to the evidence and make the state prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt?
The judge ruled Wilson can wear makeup to try to cover up the tattoos, but he did not appear to have any on the first day of the trial. Again, jury selection will take about a week, and then the trial is expected to be another 2 or 3 days, and I'll be here every step of the way. Reporting inside the Lee County Courthouse, Caitlin Knapp, Fox 4.
Still with us to discuss this new live trial on Court TV, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Marie Pereira is with us, and family and parenting relationship expert Dr. Sue Kornbluth is with us as well. Marie, let me start with you. Your thoughts on this ruling by the judge saying that he can wear makeup in this case. It's one of those unique rulings, but seems to be important in a case like this.
Absolutely, because it will work in his favor if he chooses to do it. But just looking at him, just that a person could put all of those tattoos, he looks like something evil. And he knew what he was doing because he got the tattoos. So would he even know that it's in his best interest to even cover it up? And the trial started, he's got it on. This is not going to help him. He looks creepy, scary, and he looks like somebody that has a propensity for violence, just off the strength of what his face is like.
Dr. Sue, you were reacting when we saw those images and the decision by the judge, but your thoughts from a psychology perspective on perhaps what you would recommend if you were someone who was on this defense team, consulting with them and making suggestions about perhaps this death penalty case.
Well, I think Marie was correct when she said that he has all these tattoos all over his face. They are hate tattoos, a lot of them, which doesn't make him look very good to the jury. And these are hate crimes, too, all right? Anytime a woman is killed, raped, they're hate crimes. They have something against women. What I would suggest psychologically is to go back into his background and paint a picture that he was an abused child or he had mental health issues or anything along that line to create some kind of sympathy for this young man. But I don't think there's going to be any. When you wear swastikas on your face or hate messages, the jury is not going to look at that very fairly.
Now, Marie, he's not charged with a hate crime, but in Florida, he is facing the death penalty. So there's nothing that could enhance what he is facing in this case. Your thoughts on that process when we're asking the jury those questions about whether or not they can be fair and impartial, and they also have to be asked, can they find for the death penalty? Because it can't be someone who is completely against the death penalty. Do you agree with that process that's happening there in Florida?
It has to be a process because you want to pick a jury of the person's peers who are capable of following the law. And if this is a death penalty case, they have to understand aggravating factors. And if they are proven, then the next phase of sentencing will come. Are you able to morally, ethically, spiritually say this person will be put to death if the state proves all the aggravating factors and there are not enough mitigating factors when the sentencing phase comes? So yes, this is very important. We don't know all the details of the case, but 2 women were murdered, and they were, one frail woman, 2 frail women against 1 evil-looking man. So it's starting out at the gate like this is a death penalty case, and they're trying to make sure they pick the right jury to do that.
And Marie, my follow-up is, because it's death penalty, we know there's going to be aggravators and mitigators that are going to, if he's convicted, they won't go to that phase if he is not convicted of these 2 murders, but if they get to that phase, the state will be saying aggravators, and one of those is atrocious and heinous, but also that these were 2 victims on separate occasions. Do you think that is a relevant aggravator when you have 2 women who were not together? And we don't know yet about his relationship between either of these women, but do you think there's one that's more aggravating than the other, if he knew them or if this was random?
Whether he knew them or not, or it was random, you're talking about the lives of 2 innocent women, unprovoked, he murdered. So that's a cruel, heinous disregard for human life. It shows a propensity for violence. And then he has prior history, too, to my understanding, of contact with the criminal justice system. And there was no purpose for the murders, except random. Even if there was a purpose, we're talking about the heinous taking of 2 lives for no reason, unprovoked whatsoever. So the aggravators are there.